Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice and happy holidays to all of you out there, no matter where you're from, no matter how you celebrate, happy holidays to you. The Christmas song is brilliant. It's one of my favorite holiday compositions, and I've heard it many, many times. So today, I want to dive into it with you and talk about how great the songwriting is and how great Nat King Cole performs it. But extra little cherry on top, patrons told me about this live version, which I'd never seen before. So this is going to be my first time watching Nat King Cole perform it live. Let's get to it.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright.
Okay, before we get too far into this, I want to go back to the beginning. Of course, this is tradition here. We're going to go back to the beginning. And the very first thing that I want to draw attention to is his mouth shape and enunciation. He has some of the clearest enunciation out there. You can really see, especially in this performance, it's great. I love it. You can see how his mouth is molding around these words. It like lingers and all of the good stuff in there. And we're going to talk about all of that good stuff. So back to the beginning. I love having the orchestra in this, by the way. So lovely.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Look at that. So fire is a great example. Really those elongated words and the way he moves through all of these sort of intermediary shapes as he's going through his words. I love seeing the width of the mouth and the verticality of it both. He's using his entire singing hole to get all of these beautiful shapes out so we get the most clear words possible. One of the biggest mistakes I see in beginner singers is that they try to sing with a very closed mouth, like they were speaking. And even though singing is essentially elongated speaking, overdoing the mouth shapes like this make it so much easier to understand. One more time back here. There's much more in this opening phrase we're going to talk about too. Beautiful performance.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
So in this songwriting, I love the way you essentially have a lower pitch that sort of launches into a higher one, and then it lingers as it's going down. A lot of times when people are going down or it's kind of the tail end of something, it's more common to see it go through that a little more. Instead, we're lingering on every single note here. And the way that it just launches into from bottom to high right away, it brings us into the song. So songwriting is great, but then you have Nat King Cole. And I love the way that here, as he was getting into the song, you could see he's kind of wandering around and it's like he acknowledges the audience with that look to the camera. And then he doesn't hesitate when he goes into this. A lot of times people get worried like, oh, there's a low note and then a high note right away on the song. No. He's right there. It's like he catches the wave of air and just launches into the sound immediately, and immediately is telling his story. There's no hesitation. Oh, it's a great combination. Right, there's an acknowledgement.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir. And folks dressed up like Eskimos.
And even though, right, not the most appropriate word to use today, Eskimos, but a lot of people just in the enunciation of this would say Eskimos. And he's so deliberate and clear in Eskimos because that's actually what the vowel is. It's an I. But when we speak, we tend to make that a schwa, which is a neutral sound. It's not as clear when you're singing it. And if you go to the I vowel instead, much, much more clear. I'm going to go back again. There's one other thing in his enunciation I just have to point out and linger on, like he lingers on. There are so many consonants that can be sung through. Consonants involve somehow closing your mouth. It can be closing with just the tongue on like an L or an ng. That's a different, a back part of the tongue that's closing there. And both of those are voice consonants. You can actually keep vocalization, so keep creating a pitch here with your two vocal folds. That can continue while you're singing the consonant. But a lot of times people will back off of these consonants naturally when they first start singing them, or they'll make them shorter. And he actually does the exact opposite, which is a really, really good singing technique. He leans into these voiced consonants, elongates them even more, even gives them a tiny bit extra energy, because naturally once you're blocking that sound wave, that energy is going to dissipate a little bit. Instead, he continues that energy forward very well. Okay.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your
There you go. That
nose.
ng on nipping, again, sings right through it.
Yuletide carols
And
being sung.
that's the other spot, carols. He just keeps going through that L there. It's so extremely clear. I'm going to talk a bit about elongating and singing through a phrase versus actually using moments to make certain parts a little shorter. This sort of phrasing mastery that he has here is incredible. But for now, we're going to go back. I'll let this part continually play out for a little longer, and we'll analyze some later portions of the song.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir.
Just notice their choir. He actually goes to like an oo, almost an oo vowel at the end of choir. Makes it even more clear. That's impressive.
Sung by a choir. And folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright.
That section is so amazing to see how he chose to take pauses in various places, how he chose to move faster or slower in other places. It makes it feel natural, even though it actually is a little bit rangy. And it's so ingrained in my mind because I've listened to his version of this song, ever since I was a kid, just grew up on it. But it is really easy, I think, to take for granted how perfect this phrasing is. So let's go back and look at it and think about, wow, he chose to do that. He made that. He created it.
Everybody knows a turkey.
That is a great example. Everybody knows. What does everybody know? by putting a little pause right there, taking a breath, if you're hearing this for the first time, you would go like, oh, what does everyone know? And then he starts in a turkey and some mistletoe. By the way, if you're with me in live premiere this morning, let me know, what is your favorite thing to eat for Christmas dinner? Or if you're celebrating a different holiday, I'd love to know what that holiday staple is for you. It is not turkey for me. I believe it was ham for my family, though I have to say, I'm not really big on the ham. I would much prefer like a nice roast beef. I think that's lovely. But I'm also not vegetarian, and I think there are tons of great vegetarian options out there. There's so many great food options. So let's chat about it. Let's celebrate some holiday foods, and then celebrate some phrasing some more.
Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright.
I love the way he elongates bright. So "ite," that vowel is a diphthong. You guys probably know this if you've been with me for very long, but a diphthong is two vowels that are pushed together into one sound. "I" is an "ah" and an "e" combined. So as he elongates this, he actually goes all to the stuff in between. Bright. Right? There's actually a lot of intermediate vowels there. And he's just singing through all of them. And I love the way that even as it gets to the end, you hear this really soft vibrato continuing on. It's beautiful, sustaining, and enunciation all together.
Make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight.
Gosh. The dynamics of this too, the tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. Just so beautiful in the songwriting there. I like the way that we've combined the upward motion of the pitch with this really big feeling that all of us can relate to, right? This excitement with her eyes all aglow. I love, so it was Mel Torme and Bob, gosh, what was his name again? I have it here. Bob Wells. So Bob Wells and Mel Torme were the people that wrote this together. I think Mel Torme is primarily responsible for the melody, and Bob and Mel Torme were the ones that did the lyrics together. And this is just like the perfect combination of this gorgeous, gorgeous melody going up and enhancing the lyrics so far beyond what I would have thought possible. I'm gonna go back one more time. I love this moment.
Is all aglow.
Oh, back a little further. Build up to it.
Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight.
And by the way, for you diphthong lovers, glow is yet another diphthong. It's an open O and oo together, glow. Right, so those two vowels are a little closer together than ah and e, but he still makes a very beautiful distinguishment between the two and elongation of all the stuff between.
Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight.
And notice the way this is going to get into that idea between when he chooses to elongate a word versus shorten it. Sleep. He chose to shorten here. Find it hard to sleep tonight. Would be really easy to just take it all the way into tonight. Instead, he goes sleep tonight. As if there's a pause there, like, oh, no, they're not going to sleep at all. There's a lovely thoughtfulness to his choice in phrasing about when he's going to elongate words or not, that lets us, invites us to have an extra thought or two about the lyrics.
With their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight.
I love that melody.
They know that Santa's on his way. He's loading lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see.
Oh, it's so good. I love the way it's elongated up on top and then it hovers and he says, is gonna spy, and looks at you sort of out of the corner of his eye like, we've all done this at one point. We all spied to see if we could see Santa and what he was up to. Oh man. Oh, this is such a sentimental song. I love these lyrics. Okay. Back again.
He's loading lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly.
I love the vocal delivery of that so much, but we also have to pay attention to how well he's delivered this visually. You can tell he's looking at you, looking at the camera, inviting you to be a part of this story with him. It's really, really simple and just really well done. A lot of times, singers, when they're first doing recordings in front of a camera, they get kind of scared. They don't know how to talk to a camera. I've been here, and I'm here currently in this situation. When you're first in front of a camera, it feels kind of scary. You feel a little bit stiff. And then as time goes on, I think people learn how to be more friendly with the camera, realize there actually are a ton of people that they really adore potentially on the other side of that camera. And you learn how to invite the camera and the audience in with you. It is definitely a learned thing, though. I don't think I've ever found somebody that's just natural at that, especially when they're singing long lines like this. So it's brilliant. I love the way he addresses the camera here. If you guys are working on recording yourself at home singing, take a note. See if you can manage this too. Let's go back some more.
He's loading lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child
There's that L again.
to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase.
There's so much control, yet abandonment in that phrase. The way he opens up and just lets the voice soar, but then continues to keep that energy well honed until the very last moment as we're descending pitch, just keeps feeding the sound so that it continues to connect to his audience. Beautifully, beautifully done. I also want to go back and take a look at the cadence that we're having in some of these words, because again, this isn't just Nat King Cole being an incredible performer. This is also about, wow, holy crap, great songwriting. This for me is some of the greatest songwriting out there, right? It's like almost like Somewhere Over the Rainbow kind of, right? It's incredible. So if you look at the words and you read them, it has a rhythm in them that naturally will come. And once you read those words and you see that natural rhythm and then you see what Nat King Cole does with it, I think it just increases appreciation even more. So I'm offering this simple phrase. Do you feel that way? That it's almost like iambic pentameter, right? Where it's like ba 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 ba. And sometimes the words will be shortened to even lean into that a little bit more. So I'm offering this simple phrase. I like there's a naturalness that comes in between offering this and then it gets back on that same boat once again. To kids from 1 to 92. Again, that sort of natural rhythm. This is great words, great lyrics, meet great melody, meet great performer. Although it's been said many times, many ways, here we actually switch to this sort of a triplet feeling. It's been said many times, many ways. And so every now and then in this if you just go back to the lyrics of this and read them to yourself, notice when you have moments where there are duplets and moments where there are triplets. And often those triplets actually add a little bit of momentum to the song. So we're getting this idea of triplets from the lyrics, but it also gets propelled by the melody. And then you get Nat King Cole who propels it and twists it a little bit just to make it even more authentic and feel like he's almost coming up with these words on the spot. It's just brilliant. I can't talk about how brilliant this song is enough. I'm going to go back a little bit further once again.
Mother's child is gonna spy.
Gets me every time.
To see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you.
I'm going to go back again here, of course. There's one other really big thing, and actually 10 billion other amazing things that we should appreciate about Nat King Cole's performance. But I just want to point out, this song is not in a really limited range. It immediately is starting off with some bigger jumps, and it often is hard for singers to navigate keeping their voice in the same spot. It'll often feel like they're kind of juggling, maybe needing to jump over a register. Sometimes it's harder to lighten the voice up at certain moments because they're going higher. They feel like they need to sing louder. And he is not restrained by that at all. It's just so smooth and fluid in his voice. He's able to give us this incredible clarity, just incredible clarity in the sound, partly because he's so adept at being able to navigate different registration, different amounts of thickness, heaviness, or lightness in the voice, no matter where he is at in his range. I'm going to go back one more time.
Although it's been said many times, many ways,
I like the way it lightens.
Merry Christmas.
And he still gives a lot of body in the bottom there. I'm going to go back even further because I feel like let's come back all the way to here and we'll let it finish out. Just notice how he's just not, he's not a slave at all to needing to be louder on the top or quieter on the bottom. He uses all parts of his range beautifully to give us such a clear and emotionful and thoughtful performance.
To see if reindeer really know how to fly.
I like that hush.
And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92.
Beautiful tuning too.
Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you.
And from me to you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you are celebrating. I wish you a wonderful day. And if you'd like to enjoy some more analysis of holiday music, you can check out this playlist over here. May you fall more in love with music every day.